As our world grows closer together, the fight for religious freedom remains a pressing concern, especially for Christians in many countries. In these places, believers encounter not just challenges but open hostility, driven by oppressive government policies, societal biases, and extremist groups. This video delves into 10 countries where Christians face severe obstacles, revealing the dangers that lurk in their daily lives and the struggles they endure just to practice their faith. But wait, before we dive fully into this, take 2 seconds and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on our future amazing content. And hit the like button. 10 countries where Christians are not welcome in 2024 and 2025. 1. North Korea. In the shadowy realm of North Korea, where the air is thick with oppression and fear, the reality for Christians is harrowing. Imagine a country where the government meticulously monitors every aspect of life, where the mere act of practicing a different religion can lead to devastating consequences. An estimated 400,000 Christians live in this secretive state, often forced to conceal their faith under the weight of a regime that views their beliefs as a direct challenge to its authority. The North Korean government, under Kim Jong-un's leadership, has systematically eradicated any semblance of religious freedom. Christianity is perceived as a foreign influence that could undermine the regime's ideology, leading to an unrelenting crackdown on those who dare to worship. Christians are routinely arrested, imprisoned, or sent to brutal labor camps, where conditions are inhumane. Reports from escapees describe a hellish existence: cramped quarters, insufficient food, brutal beatings, and relentless indoctrination. For many Christians in North Korea, worshiping in secret becomes a daily gamble with life and death. Hidden underground churches, often constructed in the shadows of larger structures, provide a sliver of solace for those yearning to connect with their faith. These gatherings are fraught with danger, requiring members to be vigilant, as even a whisper of their activities could lead to severe repercussions. Imagine the tension in these clandestine meetings, where families huddle together, voices barely above a whisper, praying fervently for protection and strength in their silent rebellion against oppression. The stories of those who have managed to escape reveal the profound cost of faith in North Korea. One such account tells of a man who, after years of living in secrecy, finally escaped to freedom. He spoke of the fear that gripped his heart every time he entered a makeshift church, aware that even a neighbor's suspicion could lead to disaster. For him, each prayer was an act of defiance, a way to reclaim his identity amidst the crushing weight of the regime's control. As we reflect on the plight of Christians in North Korea, we are reminded of their unwavering faith and resilience. Their courage to worship in such an oppressive environment serves as a stark reminder of the importance of religious freedom and the lengths to which individuals will go to uphold their beliefs. 2. Afghanistan. The landscape of Afghanistan is fraught with conflict and turmoil, particularly for its Christian minority. Following the U.S. withdrawal in 2021, the Taliban's return to power has thrown the country into a deeper abyss of fear and persecution for anyone who does not conform to its strict interpretation of Islamic law. With an estimated 10,000 Christians in a nation of over 38 million people, this small community faces dire threats that make even the most basic expressions of faith perilous. For converts from Islam, the danger is particularly acute. They are often viewed as traitors by their families and communities, leading to threats of violence, imprisonment, and even death. In a society where familial and societal bonds are paramount, the choice to follow Christ can lead to complete ostracism. Imagine living in a place where your own family might turn against you for your beliefs, where the very people who should protect you could become your greatest threat. In Afghanistan, the act of worship is relegated to the shadows. Christians often meet in secret, gathering in homes far from prying eyes, where they can pray, read scripture, and share their experiences without fear of discovery. The anxiety in these gatherings is palpable. Every knock on the door sends a shiver down their spines. Each meeting becomes a delicate balancing act, where the desire to connect with fellow believers clashes with the very real threat of being discovered. Reports from those who have managed to flee the country reveal harrowing tales of individuals who lived in constant fear. One Afghan Christian described the moment he made the decision to convert to Christianity, knowing full well the risks involved. His heart raced as he envisioned the repercussions: his family's anger, societal rejection, and potential violence. Yet he found solace in his faith, even as he was forced to hide his Bible and mute his prayers to avoid drawing attention. The resurgence of the Taliban has led to a chilling atmosphere for anyone who identifies as a Christian. Public displays of faith are dangerous. The risk of being arrested, or worse, looms large over every believer. Many have chosen to abandon their faith entirely, fearing for their safety and the safety of their loved ones. 3. Saudi Arabia, a closed society. In Saudi Arabia, the very fabric of daily life is woven tightly with a strict interpretation of Islamic law, known as Sharia. This has profound implications for religious minorities, especially Christians. Imagine living in a country where the practice of any faith other than Islam is not just discouraged but completely illegal. For the estimated 1.5 million expatriate Christians residing in the kingdom, life can feel like a constant balancing act between survival and faith. Public worship is non-existent, churches are outlawed, and any display of non-Islamic religious symbols can lead to severe penalties. The government actively surveils communities, monitoring any gatherings that may hint at Christian worship. Christians often meet in secret, perhaps in the comfort of a home or an underground location, where the risk of being discovered lurks in every corner. These clandestine meetings are often fraught with anxiety. Each knock on the door sends a jolt of fear through the gathered faithful, who risk arrest and deportation simply for practicing their beliefs. Imagine the heart-wrenching stories of families who gather under dim lights, whispering prayers while looking over their shoulders. The tension in the air is palpable as they share their faith, drawing strength from one another, while knowing that their very existence could be extinguished at any moment. They live in a country that not only forbids their worship, but actively seeks to suppress it, creating an environment where faith is hidden behind closed doors, a mere flicker of light in a vast darkness. 4. Somalia, a land of fear. In Somalia, Christianity is nearly extinguished, its presence reduced to a mere flicker in a country torn apart by conflict and extremism. The estimated Christian population is fewer than 1,000, and many of them are converts from Islam, a reality that places them in grave danger. The shadow of militant groups like Al-Shabaab looms large, fostering an environment where being a Christian can be a death sentence. Picture a young convert, filled with hope and love for a faith that promises grace and redemption, yet knowing that simply being true to oneself can lead to persecution or even execution. In Somalia, the fear of discovery is omnipresent. When a Christian's faith is uncovered, the repercussions are swift and severe. They may face violence at the hands of their community, or worse yet, at the hands of the militants who patrol the streets, enforcing their harsh interpretation of Islamic law. The societal pressure to conform to Islam is immense. Families often disown those who choose to embrace Christianity, leading to isolation and a lack of support. Imagine the loneliness of walking a path illuminated by faith, but shadowed by the fear of rejection from loved ones. For many Christians, practicing their faith openly is not an option. It is a risk too great to take. Secret meetings in safe houses, hushed conversations about Scripture, and whispered prayers form the backbone of a community that strives to survive in the face of relentless adversity. The plight of Christians in Somalia is a stark reminder of the harsh realities many face when their beliefs put them at odds with the dominant culture. These courageous individuals cling to their faith amidst the chaos, their stories echoing the universal struggle for religious freedom and acceptance. In a land where fear reigns, the light of faith flickers, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit against overwhelming odds. 5. Iran, the veil of fear. In Iran, The experience of being a Christian is shrouded in fear and secrecy. Officially, there are around 300,000 Christians, but this number doesn't capture the reality of life under a regime that views any religion outside of Islam as a threat. Many Christians live in constant anxiety, knowing that their faith could lead to dire consequences. Imagine a father who quietly gathers his children in the dim light of their living room, whispering prayers and reading from the Bible. With every creak of the floorboards, they freeze, listening for any sign that the authorities might come crashing through the door, seeking to arrest them for simply practicing their faith. Converts from Islam bear the brunt of the government's wrath. They often face harsh punishments, including imprisonment and torture, for abandoning their original faith. Imagine a young woman, once a devoted Muslim, who feels a calling to Christianity. Her heart races as she contemplates baptism, an act that could lead to her imprisonment or worse. If caught, she might find herself in a dark, damp cell, enduring interrogations that test her faith and will to live. The Iranian government imposes strict restrictions on church activities, demanding that any gatherings be tightly controlled and monitored. Churches that once flourished now struggle to survive under oppressive regulations. Many Christians are forced to worship in secret, relying on encrypted messaging apps to connect with one another and share their faith. Picture a small group of believers huddled in a basement, praying fervently while keeping one eye on the door, fully aware that they could be discovered at any moment. The constant threat of surveillance hangs over them like a dark cloud, reminding them that their faith, which brings them hope, also puts their lives in jeopardy. Oh, and by the way, I know you're liking this video already. Go ahead right now and show me some love by hitting the like button. Done. Alright, let's continue. 6. Pakistan, a land of blasphemy fears. In Pakistan, Christians navigate a perilous landscape defined by blasphemy laws that create a hostile and dangerous environment. With a population of about 2.5 million Christians, these individuals often face rampant discrimination, violence, and even the threat of death for perceived offenses against Islam. The blasphemy laws are so strict that a mere accusation can lead to dire consequences. Imagine a Christian shopkeeper serving customers in a bustling market, knowing that a single complaint could spark a mob fueled by anger and intolerance. The case of Asia Bibi serves as a chilling reminder of the stakes involved. After spending nearly a decade on death row for allegedly insulting the Prophet Muhammad, Asia's plight captured international attention. Picture her in a cramped cell, isolated and longing for freedom, while her family lives in hiding, fearing for their lives. Asia's story resonates deeply with many Christians in Pakistan, who understand that their faith can lead to unfathomable consequences. The weight of her experience is a haunting reflection of the daily dangers Christians face, leading many to remain silent about their beliefs. Sectarian violence in Pakistan often specifically targets Christians, leaving them vulnerable and marginalized. Reports of attacks on churches in Christian neighborhoods are not uncommon, and fear permeates their daily lives. Imagine a family preparing for Sunday service, checking the news for reports of violence. They gather their belongings, but instead of excitement, there's a palpable tension in the air as they question whether it is safe to attend. When violence erupts, it often goes unpunished, sending a clear message to Christians that they are not safe in their own country. In this environment, many Christians live double lives, practicing their faith in secret while presenting a different persona to the outside world. The constant threat of persecution forces them into the shadows, leaving them feeling isolated and afraid. They yearn for acceptance and the freedom to express their beliefs openly, but the realities of life in Pakistan often make that impossible. The fear that grips their hearts serves as a powerful reminder of the price of faith in a society marked by intolerance. 7. Yemen. Yemen, a land once celebrated for its ancient architecture and rich culture, now finds itself in the throes of a devastating civil war and humanitarian catastrophe. Amidst this chaos, the Christian community, estimated at fewer than 30,000 individuals, often feels like an afterthought, caught in the crossfire of political and religious strife. Most of these Christians are expatriates, foreign workers drawn to Yemen's natural beauty and potential. Yet for them, everyday life is fraught with tension and danger. Imagine waking up each day to the distant sounds of gunfire and the rumble of airstrikes echoing through the streets. In this environment, practicing Christianity becomes not just a personal choice, but a life-threatening risk. Converts from Islam, in particular, face brutal persecution from the Houthi movement and other extremist groups who view their faith as an affront to Islamic values. Reports of harassment, violence, and even murder against converts are chilling. Families are torn apart, with some members disowning their relatives who embrace Christianity, fearing for their safety and reputations. Public expressions of faith can provoke violent reactions. A simple prayer or gathering can lead to brutal confrontations with militants. This oppressive atmosphere forces many Christians to worship in secret, often in basements or remote locations, hiding their beliefs from neighbors and authorities alike. They may gather quietly, sharing whispered prayers and stolen moments of fellowship, but the weight of fear looms heavily over every meeting. For many, abandoning their faith is a painful consideration. The psychological toll of living in such fear can lead to deep feelings of isolation and despair. Despite the dangers, many cling to their beliefs, drawing strength from their faith and community, even as the world outside crumbles around them. The plight of Christians in Yemen serves as a heartbreaking reminder of the cost of war and the indomitable spirit of those who continue to seek solace and strength in their faith, even amid chaos. 8. Sudan. Sudan's history with Christianity is intricate and often tumultuous. While the overthrow of longtime dictator Omar al-Bashir in 2019 ignited hope for reform and improved human rights, the reality for Christians in the country has not changed significantly. Christians, particularly converts from Islam, continue to navigate a treacherous landscape filled with uncertainty and danger. Imagine living in a country where your very existence can provoke hostility. The Christian community in Sudan has faced relentless harassment, discrimination, and violence. Converts, often seen as traitors to their families and communities, bear the brunt of this persecution. The repercussions of their faith can be severe, ranging from physical violence to threats that leave them isolated and vulnerable. Family members may turn against them, forcing some to flee their homes or hide their beliefs from loved ones. Despite the government's promises for reform, these pledges have largely gone unfulfilled. Churches have been demolished, and Christian leaders have faced arbitrary arrests. The atmosphere is charged with fear, as Christians are often treated as second-class citizens. Public expressions of faith, such as gatherings for worship or even wearing a cross, can lead to violent confrontations with authorities or extremists. This climate of fear stifles their ability to live openly as Christians, forcing many to practice their faith in secret, away from the watchful eyes of their neighbors. The ongoing conflicts in Sudan, exacerbated by economic instability and ethnic tensions, further complicate the situation. These factors contribute to a pervasive sense of lawlessness, making it difficult for any community, especially religious minorities, to find safety. For many Christians, daily life becomes a balancing act between faith and survival, as they seek solace in a belief that has historically brought them hope, even in the darkest times. In Sudan, the struggle for religious freedom continues, revealing the harsh realities faced by Christians who yearn for acceptance and the ability to express their faith without fear. The resilience of these individuals, who refuse to abandon their beliefs despite overwhelming odds, stands as a powerful testament to the human spirit and the enduring power of faith in the face of adversity. 9. Eritrea. Eritrea is often referred to as the North Korea of Africa, a nation where freedom is suppressed and dissent is met with harsh consequences. The government, led by President Isaias Afwerki since independence in 1993, has implemented severe restrictions on religious practices, particularly targeting Christians. With an estimated 2 million Christians in the country, many believers find themselves living in a constant state of fear and secrecy. The government officially recognizes only 4 religious groups: the Eritrean Orthodox Church, the Roman Catholic Church, the Evangelical Lutheran Church, and Sunni Islam. Any other denominations, including Pentecostals and other evangelical groups, are deemed illegal. This lack of recognition means that thousands of Christians must gather in hidden locations, abandoned buildings, private homes, or remote areas to practice their faith without the fear of being discovered. Imagine the anxiety that permeates these clandestine meetings. Each whispered prayer and quiet hymn carries the weight of potential arrest. The Eritrean authorities have shown little tolerance for dissent. Christians discovered in unauthorized worship can face brutal crackdowns. Reports reveal stories of individuals arrested in the dead of night, taken away to unknown locations, and subjected to harsh interrogations. Some detainees have been tortured, while others face forced labor in military camps, where conditions are often inhumane. The haunting reality of this oppression creates a pervasive atmosphere of fear among Christians, forcing many to keep their beliefs hidden, even from their closest friends and family. For many, this situation is not just a matter of religious identity, but also one of survival. Parents fear for their children, who may inadvertently reveal their faith in school or among peers. Friends and neighbors often become suspicious of one another, eroding the very fabric of community. The emotional toll is immense as believers grapple with their desire to worship openly and the grim reality that doing so could lead to dire consequences. In such a climate, faith becomes both a source of strength and a source of anguish, as Christians cling to their beliefs while navigating a society that sees them as enemies. 10. Turkey. Turkey, once celebrated for its cultural mosaic and religious tolerance, has seen a troubling shift in recent years. Under the leadership of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, anti-Christian sentiment has risen, creating an increasingly hostile environment for the country's Christian minority. Although Christians constitute only about 0.2% of Turkey's population, they face a reality fraught with challenges and discrimination. Imagine living in a country that was once home to the early Christian church, where places like Ephesus and Cappadocia hold historical significance. Today, however, many Christians experience the unease of practicing their faith in a nation that increasingly equates their beliefs with disloyalty. Churches that once thrived have been targeted, with numerous incidents of vandalism and destruction. Many congregations have reported a decline in attendance, as fear of persecution keeps believers from gathering for worship. The challenges extend beyond physical threats. Christians often encounter discrimination in employment, education, and social services, leading to a sense of isolation. For converts from Islam, the situation is even more precarious. Many face ostracism from their families and communities, creating a profound emotional struggle between their faith and familial bonds. These individuals must navigate a world where expressing their beliefs can lead to backlash, rejection, or worse. The societal pressure to conform to Islamic practices is immense. Public expressions of Christianity, such as wearing a cross or discussing one's faith, can provoke hostility or even violence. Converts live in a state of heightened anxiety, acutely aware that their faith can be a trigger for aggression from those around them. This environment stifles their spiritual growth and freedom to express their beliefs, forcing many to choose between their faith and their safety. Despite these challenges, Turkish Christians remain resilient, often finding strength in their faith and community. Secret meetings, small home churches, and private gatherings become lifelines for many, allowing them to worship without fear of public scrutiny. They cling to the hope that their stories of faith and perseverance will inspire a broader movement towards tolerance and acceptance, echoing the rich history of Christianity in the land they call home. In conclusion, the challenges Christians face in these 10 countries highlight a concerning trend of religious intolerance and persecution. The situations in Eritrea and Turkey exemplify the struggles of countless believers who confront adversity daily. Yet, even in the darkest circumstances, The stories of those who stand firm in their faith serve as powerful reminders of resilience and hope as we move forward into 2024 and beyond. Raising awareness and advocating for the rights of religious minorities remains crucial in fostering a world where all can freely practice their beliefs without fear. The collective strength of those who endure adversity inspires a brighter future for all faiths and fosters a culture of understanding and acceptance. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. And don't forget to like this video. Hit the subscribe button for more powerful content. See you in the next one.